I'm so excited for you to watch this video. Before it begins, I wanted to let you know that if you want to take your art skills to the next level, click on the link below and check out my premium courses. Hi everyone, I'm so excited today to talk to you about shapes. We are going to be drawing some 2D shapes and then we're going to turn them into 3D shapes. So 2D shapes are flat, like drawing of a circle on a paper, and a 3D shape is something it looks three-dimensional. Sometimes we can create that illusion by adding a shadow. Sometimes we can create that illusion by drawing some different perspective lines. Today we're going to be doing both. And before we get into the 2D and 3D shapes, I just want to talk about shape. So we have different types of shapes in our world. We have geometric shapes like this sphere, this ball, and we have organic shapes like this apple. So people say that geometric shapes are things that are man-made, and organic things like this apple, I need to move, like this apple are things that we find in nature. Now, I have seen many things in nature that when you get down and you get a microscope, they are very, very geometric and precise. But usually when they're bigger, they're a little bit more organic. They have different types of shapes and lines. So when you're outside or when you're walking around, even just around your space where you live, look and try to find things that are organic and things that are geometric. And try to figure out the differences between those two and see if you agree with that statement that things that are organic are things found in nature, things that are geometric are things that are man-made. What do you think? I don't know. So today, we'll start out by just drawing some simple 2D shapes like circles and triangles. The star might be a little bit hard. If it's hard for you, then just forget about it and you don't need to draw it. And then we'll add some shadows and turn them into 3D shapes. It's really fun. And then we're going to draw this panda bear using those shapes. Grab your materials and let's get started. All right, grab your materials, have your paper. I love to use watercolor paper for this. It works a little bit better, but if all you have is drawing paper, that's fine. Grab your marker, your paintbrush, some water, and a paper towel or a rag if you have one, and let's get started. Let's draw some shapes. These are two-dimensional flat shapes. So you can put them anywhere on your paper. We're going to need space for about 5. But some could be big, some could be small. You can draw these however you want. So let's start out with a circle and a square. Let's add a triangle, a rectangle, and then this one can just be a very random shape. So it could be a star, it could be an oval. I'm just going to draw a star. This might be a little advanced, so if it is advanced for you, then do not draw a star. And that's it. We have our 2D shapes. It was really easy, right? Now, grab your paintbrush, dip it in your water, and we're going to start with a sphere, the circle. Sorry, it's not a sphere yet. And we're going to add a shadow. I just want to put maybe like a sun up here. So this is our light source. So the light is coming from this top left corner. So the shadows are going to be on the right side of our objects. And you have to kind of paint over that line a little bit in order to get the marker to bleed. And we're just adding a shadow. If you want to soften up that line, just clean your brush off a little bit and then paint over the shadow area. And maybe if you don't want it floating on the table or in the air, you can add just a little bit of a shadow underneath. Now the square. We need to turn this into a cube. And some of you are really good at this. I know because I've seen you draw these in my class before. So what I want you to do, if you already know how to do it, just go ahead and do it. If you don't, follow along. Put a dot in the middle of your square, then draw a line up. And you're going to basically just be drawing the same thing. You're going to draw a square behind it. And you're making a square in the square by drawing it. Now you need to connect all the corners. And there you have your ice cube. Let's do something a little bit different with this one. This one, let's say we can't see through it. And so we're going to draw some diagonal lines. And we're going to try to keep them the same size. And then we're going to draw lines that run parallel to each one of these sides. So this vertical parallel line, and this horizontal parallel line. So now we have the sides. And this triangle, we're going to make it into a pyramid. And we're going to do it in the easiest way I know. Go ahead and just put a dot over here and draw a line from the bottom corner and the top corner to it. So now we can see the side of this pyramid shape. And then we have the star. The star, we could do a few different things, but I just like to do this. Put a dot in the middle and then bring some lines in. And you could also bring some lines all the way to the outer corner if you want. This is a little bit more advanced. So if this is hard for you, just ignore it. Now grab your paintbrush and let's go ahead and add some shadows. Also, if when it dries, you kind of lose some of those lines, you can just add them back in before we finish. So go ahead and add the shadow on the right side of your pyramid. And maybe just a little shadow underneath. And let's go ahead and add a shadow on the right side of our super tall cube. Maybe this is a building. If the sun's coming from there and coming down to this, maybe the top would be bright. I don't know. So if it is, then I'm just going to add a little bit of a shadow then to this side. And maybe we'll just add a shadow to the bottom here. Bring it all the way off the paper. And the star is kind of fun. You can do a few different things. I'm just going to add shadows on, let's see, the right side. So I'm going to put a shadow here, skip, put a shadow here, skip, put a shadow here, and skip to this one. And then I'm just doing it the whole way around. And this star is totally floating in space. You could put a shadow underneath it if you wanted to. Now the cube, you could do a few things with shadows. You could like add one to the back, to the bottom, around the whole thing. I'm just gonna add a shadow to the bottom and a little one to the back. It's kind of a big one actually, because it went through the whole shape. And maybe just a little bit around these edges to soften them up a little bit. All right, now when it dries, just add in some of those lines if you want to, totally optional. I kind of like it broken up a little bit. I like the edge that it gets. But especially here, we want to make sure we bring that line back across. And that's it. That is how you turn 2D shapes into 3-dimensional shapes. I hope that was fun. Okay, now let's go ahead and try to draw something using shapes. Let's draw a panda bear. Since these shapes are pretty simple, it's basically just a bunch of circles. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw a circle and just kind of in the middle off to the left of your paper like this. This is going to be where the nose is and the eyes will kind of come off of this shape. And then we're going to draw another circle kind of coming up a little bit. It's going to look a little weird. Don't worry. Let's go ahead and draw the eyes now. So we're going to draw some ovals. This is not a walrus. It will be a panda bear. And then the nose. It's really big. It comes down to a mouth. And then we'll just draw maybe another little circle underneath and some ears above. And maybe we'll add those little eyes in here. And let's go ahead, this panda bear is walking, so we can actually see its body behind it. So how we're gonna draw this, we're gonna start actually on the ear. And we're gonna draw a big circle up like that, and down. And then we're gonna start just halfway up here and draw a line that comes down and touches the cheek. And this is going to be one of the front legs. And then we're going to draw another leg, which is just a circle. These are just all circles. And then we're going to draw another circle back here that is this back leg. So to shade it in, we just used a bunch of circles and ovals, right? So we're just going to make his nose dark. We're going to add some shading around his eyes. His ears. And this line, this dark shape that's going and wrapping down to his legs or hers. I don't know if this is a girl panda or a boy panda. It can be whichever one you want it to be. Let's go ahead and add the shadow to this very back. And then if you really want to get advanced, you can add some shading like under here, you know, there would be maybe a little bit of shading around the back. It's not a blue shape, not blue, it's black, but you can just add a tiny bit of shading to kind of soften up some of those areas. It's totally up to you. And let's go ahead and make it so this panda isn't just floating in space, but it actually is standing on the ground. So cute little panda. Yours probably looks way better than this, but I just wanted to give you an example of how you would use shapes to draw something, and hopefully yours turned out and you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for drawing with me. I hope you enjoyed learning about 2D shapes and 3D shapes, geometric shapes and organic shapes. I have to admit, I think this panda bear's face could be improved. I think that you probably could draw one better than I did. But I would love to see what you did create. Now let's talk about maybe how to apply this lesson and create your own project. So this is what I want you to do. Draw an animal using shapes. Any animal you want, your favorite animal. Maybe even an imaginary animal. It's totally up to you, and try to use these shapes that we've talked about today to draw it. And I would love to see your work. Good luck and have a wonderful day.